Anna suddenly realizes that her parents only had her to serve as a backup donor for her cancer-stricken older sister, Kate. Every time Kate's illness flares up, their parents take something from Anna's body. Her umbilical cord blood was collected at birth. Her white blood cells were extracted just after she turned 1, and even her bone marrow was forcibly taken when she was too young to resist. Even worse, when Kate is diagnosed with kidney failure, their mother, Sarah, demands that Anna donate one of her kidneys. That summer, large bruises suddenly appeared across 4-year-old Kate's back, and after she was rushed to the hospital, the family learned that she had leukemia and urgently needed a bone marrow transplant. But the doctors searched the entire bone marrow registry without finding a suitable match. Just as her parents sank into despair, a doctor suggested that they have another child because umbilical cord blood could be highly effective in treating leukemia.
It's like a miracle.
How would you know that the new child would be a match?
We could make sure of it.
In a test tube?
Yes, with pre-implantation genetic diagnosis, it would be a 100% match.
Oh, we gotta do it.
And so, with the help of carefully controlled medical procedures, Anna was born. But as Anna grew older, she came to understand that every life is its own, and no one should be reduced to a biological supply bank for someone else. Although she loved Kate deeply, her resistance continued to rise as her parents endlessly demanded more from her for Kate's sake. One day, Anna comes home from school and hears frantic noises coming from the bathroom. When she opens the door, she finds blood pouring from Kate's nose. Anna's entire body turns cold, and her heart nearly leaps into her throat. Because every time Kate gets sick, it means Anna will once again be forced to pay the price. As night falls, the piercing wail of an ambulance suddenly shatters the silence. While the paramedics examine Kate, she suddenly coughs up a large amount of blood, and the red stains run down her neck into her collar, soaking one side of her clothes. The terrifying sight leaves everyone speechless. As the paramedics carry Kate away on a stretcher, Anna stares at her weak, pale figure and hides fearfully behind Jesse, realizing that this time they may demand much more than bone marrow. After an emergency consultation, the doctors deliver a devastating diagnosis. Kate's leukemia has returned, and her worsening condition has caused kidney failure, leaving an immediate transplant as the only way to prolong her life. Sarah immediately approaches Anna, assuming that her usually obedient daughter will cooperate as she always has. But this time Anna refuses without hesitation. In a burst of anger, Sarah slaps Anna across the face. That evening, Sarah calls an urgent family meeting and tries to change Anna's mind, believing that an appeal to family loyalty and morality will make her give in. But like a dam finally bursting, Anna pours out years of hurt and resentment in one volcanic eruption. Instead of receiving her mother's understanding, Anna is angrily condemned as selfish.
What if I just want to live a long time? Remember how the doctor said if I did the operation, I would have to be careful for the rest of my life? But I don't want to be careful. Who wants to live like that?
Anna,
I'm important too, Mom. I'm important too!
Determined to defend her right to her own body and life, Anna sells her most valuable gold necklace the next morning and uses the money to hire an attorney. When Camel Alexander learns that a 10-year-old girl wants to sue her parents, he initially assumes it is nothing more than a childish act of defiance. But when he opens the medical file Anna hands him, he finds page after page documenting the countless times she has been placed on an operating table. Along with one disturbing blood draw report after another, Campbell can hardly believe it. And the long list of cold clinical procedures resembles scars carved into Anna's skin, silently revealing all the pain she has endured.
I wouldn't even be alive if Kate wasn't sick. I'm a designer, maybe.
Looking at the frail but determined girl before him, Campbell immediately agrees to take her case. But no one expects Sarah to storm into Campbell's office as soon as she receives the legal notice, arguing that Anna is too young to make her own decisions and trying to stop the lawsuit.
I have 15 years as a volunteer member of the ACLU, in addition to which I have this power of attorney, signed by your daughter.
Campbell's response only confuses Sarah more, because there is no financial reward in this case, and she cannot understand why he would go to so much trouble.
Hospitalizations in 11 years, 6 catheterizations, 2 bone marrow aspirations, 2 stem cell purges.
She was helping her sister.
Not to mention the side effects, including bleeding, infections, bruising. Filgrastim shots, those are growth hormones, am I correct?
Something like that.
Drugs for nausea, opiates for pain, Ambien for sleep, not exactly the proper medication for preteen.
Yet when Campbell confronts her with the heart of the matter, Sarah feels no shame and stubbornly insists that everything she has done was simply to keep her family together. She never realizes that her feelings for Anna have always been rooted in Anna's role as a tool for saving her eldest daughter. To ease the explosive tension between mother and daughter, Brian takes Anna to his workplace, with his co-workers warmly including her. Anna is soon having a wonderful time, and her cheerful laughter echoes through the air. It is the first time Brian has seen Anna cast off all her burdens and pain and behave like the carefree 10-year-old child she should be. When he remembers Anna's heartbreaking screams as her bone marrow was forcibly taken when she was little, a flood of guilt overwhelms him. At that moment, Brian finally realizes that they stepped onto the wrong path the instant they decided to turn Anna into a life-saving tool. He begins trying to persuade Sarah not to force Anna to donate a kidney. Although every word Brian speaks is filled with guilt and pleading, he cannot shake Sarah's stubborn resolve. Neither of them realizes that Anna is hiding around the corner of the staircase and hearing every word of their argument. The day of the hearing soon arrives, and after both sides submit their documents, Judge DeSalvo first attempts to mediate the case before trial. Campbell argues that Anna has the right to stop her parents from making her donate, the right to choose not to undergo major surgery, and the right not to spend the rest of her life being extra cautious because she has lost a kidney. Sarah insists that Anna lacks the judgment to make that decision and does not understand that failing to save Kate could leave her with lifelong regret.
She doesn't fully understand what it is that she wants. She's 11 years old. She changes her mind every 5 minutes. You know how young girls can be.
Sarah's position shocks Judge DeSalvo, who cannot believe that a mother would speak with such disregard for her daughter's life and health. With neither side willing to back down, Judge DeSalvo temporarily ends the meeting and decides to speak with Anna in person. To her surprise, Anna shows none of the resentment she expected and instead talks to her with a smile. When Judge DeSalvo asks about Anna's relationship with Kate, Anna immediately slips into her memories, because her favorite moments are the ones she spent with her sister. Even when Kate was suffering terribly during chemotherapy, she still stayed strong and tried to cheer Anna up. As these memories return, tears begin rolling down Anna's face. Judge DeSalvo assumes that Anna is upset by her painful past and is about to comfort her when Anna notices a memorial photograph of the judge's daughter on her desk.
Can I ask you something?
Sure.
What was it like when she died? What did it feel like?
But Anna's innocent question instantly pulls Judge DeSalvo back into her grief. Anna means no harm, because she simply wants to know what it feels like to lose a loved one, fearing how devastated Sarah will be if Kate dies. On the day of the hearing, Judge DeSalvo realizes that she does not have enough information to make a fair and reasonable ruling while both sides remain deadlocked, so she postpones the decision. That evening, Kate's condition suddenly worsens, and a doctor pulls Sarah aside to quietly tell her that without a kidney transplant soon, Kate has no more than 2 months left. Seeing their grave expressions, Kate quickly guesses the truth, calls the doctor over, and quietly asks him about it.
I'll make sure of that.
Although the doctor gives her a clear diagnosis, Sarah still cannot accept the brutal reality and repeatedly assures Kate that she only needs to wait calmly for the surgery. Not wanting her mother to worry, Kate forces herself to remain composed and nods. Sarah then calls the doctor outside again to urgently discuss plans for the transplant.
We're doing the operation.
What operation, Sarah? You have an unwilling donor. Look, the hospital won't even allow it anymore without a court order.
Watching her mother anxiously talk with the doctor leaves Kate with a storm of conflicting emotions. For years, Sarah has been Kate's strongest source of support, always holding up the sky over her no matter how fierce the storm became. But this time, Kate no longer wants to burden her family and quietly decides to face death on her own. That night, Kate opens a photo album with trembling hands, its faded pictures preserving the brightest moments of her life. The boy in the photographs is her boyfriend, Taylor, whom she met in the chemotherapy ward, where their shared struggle with illness gave them an endless supply of things to talk about. Kate had believed that a life imprisoned by illness could only be bleak, never expecting their mutual understanding to blossom into a fragile yet radiant love story. Even when chemotherapy leaves Kate vomiting repeatedly, Taylor never leaves her side and takes tender care of her. Sarah witnesses every one of these moments and desperately wishes that the two of them could enjoy a full life like any ordinary couple. Taylor is like a candle in a freezing night, faint but strong enough to rekindle the light fading from Kate's life, and like a gentle spring rain soothing the body and spirit ravaged by her disease. One day, a cancer support group organizes a special dance, and Taylor eagerly asks Kate to be his date. Seeing the sincerity in his face, Kate agrees without hesitation. When Sarah hears the news, she immediately rushes out to find the perfect dress for her daughter. On the night of the dance, surrounded by her loving family, Kate slowly descends the stairs in a pure white gown, as graceful as a swan. Taylor is so captivated by his beautiful girlfriend that he stares in a daze, as though he is seeing his future bride. The family keeps taking pictures to preserve this precious moment of happiness, but as Brian watches his radiant daughter from a corner, his eyes fill with bittersweet sorrow. If his daughter were not trapped by illness, perhaps the sweetness of this moment really could have led them to marriage. Kate notices the emotions surging through her father's eyes and slowly walks over to him.
I look pretty, Daddy.
You ready? Have some fun.
After the dance, Kate and Taylor walk hand in hand through a silent, deserted hallway to an abandoned hospital room, where they spend the sweetest night of their lives. But fate always strikes when people least expect it. The next morning, Taylor finally loses his battle with the disease and passes away. His death seems to take the last of Kate's hope with him. Now she no longer fears the approach of death and instead quietly longs to embrace the person she loves again in another world. Long-term dialysis has left Kate extremely weak, but she still asks Brian with hopeful anticipation if she can visit the beach. After receiving the doctor's permission, Brian first goes to Anna's school to pick her up. Thrilled to see Kate after several days apart, Anna runs excitedly toward the car with delight in her eyes. They assume the trip will go smoothly, but when they prepare to stop at home for swimming gear, Sarah fiercely tries to stop them. Sarah is convinced that the bacteria at the beach will endanger Kate's life. Although Brian is desperate and even threatens divorce, Sarah stubbornly refuses to compromise. Determined to fulfill his daughter's wish, Brian finally hardens his heart, steps on the gas, and drives away with the children. They finally reach the beach, and as Kate watches Jesse and Anna laughing and running through the waves, a long-absent smile returns to her pale face. Kate has longed for the ocean since childhood and yearned for the bird-like freedom carried on the sea breeze, but her merciless disease has trapped her in cold hospital rooms for years. Her only regret is that Sarah is not there to share this peaceful moment with them. Then Sarah suddenly appears behind them, and the unexpected sight brings tears to Kate's eyes. As though the missing piece of her life has finally fallen into place, Sarah lovingly pulls her daughter into her arms, and together they quietly listen to the rhythm of the waves breaking against the shore. As the sunset casts its glow across the golden sand, Kate slowly rises and walks toward the waves with a peaceful smile. Gazing across the endless ocean, she seems to finally release all the painful days and nights, along with her reluctance to leave life behind. The trial resumes as scheduled, and to win this crucial case, Sarah invites the country's leading medical experts to testify. The experts unanimously agree that Kate's survival since the age of 5 is a medical miracle and say they hope to keep that miracle alive. In their eyes, Anna's resistance is merely the confusion of a young child who has yet to grasp the precious weight of life. But after questioning them,
That Anna has received from any of these procedures.
Yes. She got to save her sister's life.
Campbell turns to Sarah and repeatedly presses her about the years of pain Anna has been forced to endure. Although guilt is unmistakable in Sarah's words, she remains adamant that watching one child suffer is still better than watching another child die. Sarah then turns on Anna, repeatedly calling her selfish and accusing her of standing by while her own sister faces death. As Anna fights back tears with nothing to say, Jesse can no longer contain his emotions and suddenly rushes forward to reveal the shocking truth.
She's making Anna do all this because she knows that she's not going to survive another operation.
That's a lie, Jesse!
Oh, no, it's not. Kate's dying and everybody knows it. You just love her so much that you don't want to let her go.
Kate had long since decided that she wanted to die, but Sarah refused to accept it and stubbornly prolonged their exhausting struggle over Kate's life. The entire refusal to donate a kidney had been carefully planned by Kate from the very beginning. For someone who had battled disease since childhood, life had become a long sentence of hard labor. Although Sarah's love had extended Kate's life by more than a decade, it had also trapped her in a mire of pain and struggle. Kate was tired of being a burden to her family and no longer wanted to remain trapped in an endless cycle of suffering.
I need you to do me a favor, Sissy.
To make sure the plan could not fail, Kate carefully explained every detail to Anna. This seemingly rebellious fight was actually not only Kate's path to saving herself, but also a way to offer her entire family freedom and a new dawn of hope. Back at the hospital, a doctor tells Sarah that Kate has only 12 hours left to live. Yet Kate continues to smile from her hospital bed as she welcomes every friend and family member who comes to visit. Although everyone reassures her that she will recover and still has countless wonderful things ahead of her, Kate knows that all the best things in her life are already gathered around her. She holds Jessie and Anna tightly, and their bond of blood grows stronger in the silence without a word being spoken, a connection that even death can never sever. When visiting hours end, Sarah suppresses her grief and walks to Kate's bedside, gently encouraging her as she has countless times before to keep believing in life. But this time, Kate does not nod in response and instead slowly takes out a carefully crafted photo album. The faded photographs are filled with more than a decade of the love Sarah poured into her. Kate softly comforts her mother, asking Sarah not to grieve after she is gone and to remember to love herself. Sarah has devoted all her time and energy to becoming the wings that protected Kate, but now those exhausted wings deserve to rest and seek a happiness of their own. In the silent stillness of the night, Kate passes away, like a butterfly escaping its cage. She flies toward a distant place without pain. Every year afterward on Kate's birthday, Anna returns with her family to the stretch of ocean Kate loved most. The salty breeze brushes past their ears as waves crash against the rocks, and for a moment it feels as though Kate never left. Her love transformed into the wind in waves that will forever surround them. This is a deeply affecting film rooted in real-life issues, without deliberately sentimental dialogue. Yet its family story of love and struggle lays bare the deeper question of sacrifice and selfhood within family bonds, leaving every viewer emotionally invested in the character's fate. Born for the purpose of saving her sister, Anna was labeled a donor from the moment she entered the world. Her umbilical cord blood was collected at birth. Her white blood cells were extracted at 1, and she endured pain on the operating table countless times throughout her childhood. For Anna, her parents' love always carried the heavy burden of what they demanded from her for Kate. When Kate's leukemia worsens and causes kidney failure, Sarah once again demands that Anna give up a kidney. But 11-year-old Anna finally realizes that she is not a biological supply bank for others to use and that every life deserves the right to choose for itself. She sells her treasured gold necklace and takes a medical file filled with surgical records to an attorney, using her young but determined voice to fight back against a life controlled by others. The film's depth comes from its vivid, complex characters, none of whom are entirely right or wrong. In her determination to keep Kate alive, Sarah obsessively ignores Anna's suffering, but within that extreme love lies an attachment to her eldest daughter that she cannot let go. Brian gradually awakens through his guilt, moving from silent acceptance to active opposition before finally recognizing how deeply he has failed his younger daughter. Jesse silently witnesses the imbalance consuming his family and ultimately becomes the key to exposing the truth. But Kate, the sister who has battled disease for more than a decade, is the true force behind the lawsuit. Tired of the torment of chemotherapy and unwilling to burden her family any longer, Kate asks Anna to fight back so she can finally be set free. And this gentle clarity is even more heartbreaking than her physical pain. The most moving part of the film is its interpretation of what gives life meaning. When the family overcomes every obstacle to take Kate to the ocean, when Sarah releases her obsession and embraces her daughter, and when Kate looks across the water at sunset with a peaceful smile, we finally understand that the value of life is never measured by its length, but by the moments when we give each other warmth and calmly say goodbye. After Kate's death, Anna returns to that ocean with her family every year on Kate's birthday, where the breeze brushes past their ears and the waves strike the rocks as though her sister never left. The film is like a mirror reflecting the struggles and redemption found within family bonds. It reminds us that true love is not about forcing someone to stay, but about respecting the choices of every individual life. As Kate teaches her family in her final days, letting go does not mean loving someone less, but allowing each other to find freedom and fulfillment along life's journey. That realization is more powerful than any deliberate lecture could ever be. A great movie deserves to be experienced in full. I look forward to seeing you next time.